So today we're cooking the beef tacos with the TM6. It's a TM6 specific recipe because it uses the high heat function. So this is actually one of the things I loved most about the TM6 when it first came out. And the reason for that was because with the TM5, I wasn't able to get the consistency in the taco mince that I liked and enjoyed. So I continued to make it on the stove. So that's why I've fallen so much in love with this recipe myself. So, as one of the other things I love most about my TM6 is the ability to access all the recipes on Cookiedoo on my screen. So I'm going to go into my week. I've done my meal planning for this week with the ingredients I have in my cupboard. All I needed to buy for the 3 things I cooked. So yesterday I cooked a capsicum and zucchini soup. Today we're doing the beef tacos, and tomorrow I'm doing a mac and cheese using the blade cover. So the reason I picked most of those dishes because I had all the ingredients except for beef mince. And because we're in lockdown, I got my husband when he went to work to get the beef mince on the way home to minimise us going out and about. So nice and simple. So I've added the tacos there to the day of this week, which is today. You can use your meal planning for a number of different ways. You don't have to be a meal planner and plan out 2 weeks in advance to use it. You could be simply doing it so that you put it in there and the person who comes home first knows what they're going to be cooking that night and things like that. So think about how you might use it. I'll stop talking, start cooking, then we can continue talking as we go. So nice and simple. We've got the guided cooking on the screen. We're going to start cooking. And we are going to start by chopping the cheese. Yeah. So it's asking for 200 grams of cheese. Now, have I put that in front of the screen? I have. So I've just chopped up a bunch. I actually didn't weigh it beforehand. So it's 270. Look, that's probably okay. I probably wouldn't do any more than 300 grams. And the reason I'm going to chop extra is because my kids also eat cheese with other things on their wraps and things. So when I'm ever grating cheese, I generally grate a little bit more than I need so that I'm ready to go for the next dish. So grating that away. There we go. So that's a fairly chunky chop. If you like your grated cheese more fine than that, you could easily chop it again. But you want to sort of start at that level and work out whether that's something you're happy with. So I am actually pretty happy with that because I know that my kids are going to come in later and they are going to eat that probably just with their hands, let me be honest. That will be some of their afternoon tea. So we just get it out like that. Now, the recipe is going to ask us to clean and dry the mixing bowl. I'm not going to do that because I might use this bowl later for something if we've got enough time. So I'm just going to pop that over to the side and get our fresh, clean bowl here and go on to our next step. So our 2 garlic cloves, ready and peeled. Now these are 2 reasonably sized ones. I know that everyone I've met already knows that I love garlic. If these were smaller, I would add more. Because 1 and 2 just isn't quite enough most often, but they're quite big, so I'm just sticking with what it asks for. And now we are going to chop those up as well. There we go. Now, for those who already have it, the mix, I'm not sure if any of you have actually tried cooking backwards. It's not hard, but it's not super easy either. But what makes it really simple is when you turn the dial, it actually stops. If you spin it fast enough, it stops where it needs to stop. So it won't go past that spot on the first turn. So I always try and spin it really quickly so it just stops wherever it has to be and then I don't have to be focusing on what it should be. So as you can see there, hopefully you can see well into the bowl there, that's our chopped up garlic. Now the trick with this recipe is you do not scrape the bowl down because we're going to now put our onion in, and the reason we don't scrape the bowl down now is because you want it not on the bottom, because we're going to use our high heat function now by putting our onion in. And it does say specifically, do not scrape down the bowl. We're going to put our onion in and it's chopped into wedges. So you can hopefully, see what's going on the bench. See there, it's not quartered, it's probably cut into 8ths so that it doesn't get stuck on the bottom of the bowl. So the reason we don't scrape the garlic down, and the reason this is chopped a bit chunkier than you would normally chop it for a risotto, for example, is that we want the blades to be able to push it around the bowl, stop and let it sit, as you're going to see in a moment, rather than just getting stuck to the bottom. So you'll see that now. Oh, we need to put our oil in. I've already got the lid on, so leave that on and take that off. 20-ish grams. Now, as I said before, my apologies, my children are home, and I just heard the front door open and them start wandering in, so it might get a little bit loud from them. So you would have just noticed I popped the splash guard on. That will keep us safe from any splatter coming out, and also let the steam out at the same time so that it doesn't make it all juicy on the inside. Pop that there, turn that round, and now we're going to simmer for 5 minutes. 4 minutes actually. So you should be able to hear it stop. It's just turning a moment now. And it will stop and let the onion sit on the bottom, and the garlic will be out on the sides where it flung to when it got chopped, and it will all be sizzling away and cooking with that high heat, so it will actually be caramelizing in the bowl.
I love it that it mimics like a fry pan. You know how like when you let it saute, then you stir it a bit, then you let it sit, and it's doing that same thing for you, hands-free. So.
Now, can you hear the sizzle? No?
Yeah, just.
Is that any better? There you go. That is the sizzle. Now, while I've got that cooking, I have my accompaniment set up on the side here. So what I would normally be doing is I'd get this onion going, and then I'd get out the lettuce, the tomato, the avocado, whatever else you're going to put with it, and start getting that ready to go, because it does take such a short time. You've got that time available. I did it beforehand because you don't need to see me chopping, but one of the things I've noticed today is my things I had in the bottom of my crisper aren't exactly as fresh as they could be. So I actually will be replacing my tomato because it's, well, you can't really tell in the picture, but it's not as healthy as, and I'm hoping if we have time, I want to show you a quick guacamole. So I'll be doing that as well. If we have time. How are we going there? All right. Do we have any questions in the chat, Nat? The measuring cup, absolutely. It's, again, one of my favourite things about the TM6. Kind of have a lot of favourites. Maybe it's going to dilute my favourites, but this is wonderful because when you pop it in your lid, and that's the same goes for TM5 and the TM31, is that right? It won't fall out when it's clicked into place properly. So I'm not sure if any of you have ever been to a cooking experience or cooking class of mine in the past. You will have known that I'm known for throwing the TM5 MC across the room. It just has a life of its own. So the TM6 MC is absolutely one of the game changers for me. Everything we've got here goes in the dishwasher, including the bowl, the varoma, all the bits, except for the white base. Now, I don't think that was the question in the chat though, but I just...
No, it's just about the saying that the splash guard fits better in the dishwasher. Basket, yeah. I don't even have a dishwasher. Just suck it up. I have to wash all mine by hand. But yeah, totally understand that question.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely...
We'll find out definitely 100%. I've written Adrian's name down so we can follow up with him.
Awesome. Just realised I haven't got any of my lids open. All right, that's our first step done. I will now just give it a quick stir. Should be able to see some of the caramelization on some of that onion in there. Not a very good picture.
I love that it caramelizes, even though you don't get as brown as you say in the pan, but you don't get the bitterness. That's why it caramelizes without that bitterness.
Yes.
And you still get that really good flavour.
Yeah. And now what we're going to do is quickly chop that onion down so it's not big and chunky in our dish. So now that we've done that step, we want it smaller. All right. And now we're going to add our beef mince. So we've got our onion in there and we're leaving the onion in and we're adding 250 grams of our beef mince. Now, I told you I sent my husband to go and buy that beef mince. It is actually pork mince, which I know I don't need to tell you that, but I feel the need to share that he got it wrong.
That happens. Sometimes they come home and like, what did you get that for?
Well, and packaging, I must say, I bought beef mince, pork mince, and lamb mince a couple of weeks ago to do some special cooking things. And the packaging actually looks really different. So you've got to go in really carefully to see what dish is what. So, yeah, just a bit of a thing there. You need to add a little.
It'll still taste delicious.
Oh, absolutely. I'll see if the kids notice because 2 of the kids eat this. So next, and again we want our splash guard back in now. Done, and it has the extra added touch point of making sure you put it on with a special button, and we're going to now cook that off for 5 minutes. So while that's going, please, if you have any questions, I absolutely also do make my own mince. I love it, Andrew. You're going to top of the class. Beef mince is being a panic purchased item. Maybe that's why you had to get pork and just didn't tell me about it. I'd love to know what cuts you use, Andrew.
Yeah, I've just asked him that too. I'm curious.
Yeah, because I do my own chicken mince as well, because I often find it's easier to get sometimes. Porterhouse, there you go. Nice. Especially when you can get your cuts of meat cheap as well, it makes it worthwhile doing. Again, you're removing any additives and preservatives when you do it that way. It just depends on how much of what is important to you and how you're going to do it. Sam uses rump. I've used rump, I've used chuck steak. Really, I use anything I can get my hands on that's not expensive.
Yeah, I've heard chuck steak's still nice as well.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully you can see me again now. So that is that 5 minutes of cooking done. And let me just give that a bit of a stir again. So I fogged up my glasses. I don't really need them on to see you on Zoom. There we go. So there is our ground meat. Now, the next step is adding more meat. I actually did that beforehand because I didn't think you needed to sit through 2 lots of the same thing. But I just want to show you, oh, my camera's not working. On the bottom there, if you look past the meat and onion, you'll see the caramelization on the bottom of the bowl. That's absolutely normal. That's what you'd expect in your fry pan, so it's what we expect in your Thermomix as well. Generally speaking, as you cook, that will deglaze and come off on its own. But there are the self-clean or pre-clean functions built into the Thermomix now that help you to clean that off as well. So don't be alarmed by it. It will come off. It's a stainless steel bowl. It just might take a little bit of elbow work if something has gotten stuck under the blade and cooked in the one spot. But like I said, I generally just keep cooking in it and it will go away anyway. So, so that would normally transfer out to a bowl and we would then cook another batch of meat. Now, the reason we would do that is because if you put too much meat in the bowl all at once, you'll actually broil it rather than searing it. So you want less quantity in there to get that done. So there might be a little inkling in you to say, oh, I'm just going to throw it all in and get it done. If you do that, you just, 2 things, it may not cook in the time, but also it will cook broiled rather than actually
sauteing, like sauteing it. It's going to, stew it type of thing in liquid.
Yeah, stew, that's right. So,
and sometimes I'll double that recipe and I'll just do 4 lots, you know, like I'll just do the 250 4 times.
That's what I do. So
and then I'd put half away in the freezer for another time.
Yeah, so I generally don't do any more onion. I think that onion is enough.
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Double batch of meat, but I do a double batch of meat. So I just do that 4 times over and over.
Yeah, same.
So I just was going to pick out some of these pieces.
1 cook, 2 dinners. And we actually get more than 1 dinner out of it anyway.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Brown bits that are coming out of that meat. So I'm just going to add this back in. Like I said, I cooked this early just to make sure you're not sitting here, you know, watching me just simmer some meat away. There we go. And that I used was the 2.6 litre thermoserver. So, all right. So
and then it gets reused once it's cooked anyway, so you're not doing 2 dishes that way.
So we've done that. Now we're up to the taco bit. So it's asking for the tomato paste, the water, and the seasoning. I'm going to do it in the reverse order because I don't have to get more than 1 spoon. So I wrote this recipe.
That's a clever tip. Thank you.
So we're putting in our...
Do you do 30? I do 30.
Yes.
But I don't have chili though in mine, so it's okay.
I was about to say this one. So I make my own seasoning. Really simple. It's on the on Cookie-Doo as well. I did add the spices to this one though. So because I do hope my kids will eat it, I'm only going to put 20 grams of this in today. But you can obviously go up or down, whichever you prefer. And what I'd recommend is actually when you do this, oh, I've got to put the other bits in. When you do this at your place, do this next little bit we're going to do, the little cook. It's only a short cooking time. and then taste it. If you're feeling like it needs more flavour, add more flavour.
Yeah, so that's a tip to make it family friendly. I just leave out the chili flakes, the chili powder, and the pepper, and I do everything else. And then that way, if you've got kids that don't like heat, it's perfect.
Definitely. And I do normally leave the chili out, but there was a day a couple of weeks ago where I felt like I just wanted to eat like an adult and not pander to the kids all the time. So I made it how I wanted it, which now makes it harder to cook with. But anyway, so a bit of water in there. It's not a lot of water because it is taco mince. One of my next tips is I also turn this into nachos. So to turn this into nachos, all I do is add a tin of tomatoes and I add some veggie stock to add some flavour as well. So I cook it for maybe 2 minutes longer just to get rid of a little bit more liquid, and I don't add the water. So add a tin of tomatoes, don't add the water.
Yeah, and I take off my measuring cup too if I wanted to do that, like put my splash guard if I want to get rid of some liquid to do like you said for nachos. I like the idea of the veggie stock and the tomatoes just to bulk it out more.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. You could even add veggies if you really wanted to, couldn't you? Grate veggies up at the start.
Yeah. Any
with
questions?
Your onion. No, we're just chatting, just saying less to wash. Kidney beans is a great extra.
I either add kidney beans or black beans.
Yep.
One or the other. I'm just going to stay over here. Yeah, generally what I've got in the cupboard I'll add in.
Andrew said you should put it on Recipe Community.
Yeah, the only thing is I can't put I guess I could put TM6 taco hack.
Yeah.
Nachos and say use a TM6 recipe to this point, then add additional. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, like a variation.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I was writing in the chat earlier that this is the first time my daughter would eat beef tacos. Doing the home seasoning and the way the meat was cooked. And now it's one of her favourite things, but she'd never eat it before I made it in the TM6.
That's excellent.
So buying the packet stuff.
The best thing about cooking from home, as we all know, is that we get the benefit of knowing what's in our food. There's a lot of MSG and things in taco seasonings that you can buy commercially. So if that's something that's important to you, you can avoid it by making your own. And it's so much cheaper. I don't know.
Oh, it is so much.
When I make a batch, I probably get maybe 6 meals out of a jar. I'd have to check that now because
I think I get about 4 because I think I add extra. But,
yeah. Well, and I was going to make an avocado thing today, but I just don't think I'm going to have time with guacamole. All I was going to do is use the bowl that I had the cheese in. There's no need to make another bowl messy. Add some avocado in, a little bit of spring onion, and then some seasoning and some sour cream, and just make that into a sort of guacamole to put on top as well. So, so many different choices.
Not sure about that. I've never done
that.
I've never put my basket in for pre-clean, actually. I don't know if you're supposed to.
In the pre-clean either. Gosh, lots of great questions, Andrew.
Yeah, we'll check that. I've never done that before.
50 seconds to go. Have I missed sharing anything?
No, I think that's good at the moment. But like you said before, when all this is happening, this is when I don't have to spend time pre-prepping all my salads and stuff. I'll do it during the cook times.
Yeah.
So you're utilising your time so much better. This is a really good recipe for that.
And with the tacos, don't pigeonhole yourself. If your family don't like the hard shells, get soft ones and do soft things. Whatever works for you. I
like to make the tortilla ones on Cookadoo. They're really good too. Yeah.
We definitely do that as well.
Not all the time, but
convenient seeking family. So
yeah, we do both. A bit of both.
All right. And that is our tacos done. Let me just.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
So much flavour.
So you'd add on 5 minutes for the second mince cook, but that's it. So we're done. We've been chatting less than 30 minutes, and it's all done. So then all you would do, again, you'd probably heat your taco up in the oven first, but in the interest of time, and I have another meeting this afternoon, so I will need to eat lunch and I'll just have to deal with having a non-cooked taco, is grab that spoon, get some of the ingredients from the inside, Don't overfill. Oh my goodness, that is my biggest tip for today. Overfill it. Get some of that cheese we grated earlier. Sprinkle that on.
Such a family favourite, this dish.
Yeah. Now, my important tip is you put the tomato on next, any toppings, and then lettuce goes on last, because lettuce kind of acts to hold it all in. So
full of tips today, Hannah.
I'm a connoisseur of tacos, I tell you. They're
the
my
taco queen.
Yes. Well, yes, I'll definitely, that'll be my name forevermore. When my husband met me, he always says that I can cook 3 things. I can cook tacos, nachos, and bolognese. So
they're all the same thing, in a sense.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'd love to know if you've got any questions or any feedback for us today. If you'd love to see something different, please let us know as well. Obviously, as you can hear, I'm in lockdown. My kids are home with me. They cook with the Thermomix a lot. So if you want to see them cooking, I'm probably sure I can, wrangle one into doing something. Yeah, anything you want to see, let us know, because I'm here. I'm stuck at home.
Yeah. How fast was that? Half an hour and we talked and everything, and we've cooked a whole dinner. That's so good.